Hakim woke up on a Monday, looked around and said, Dios mío, the lights are off in Congress, and he can eat his burrito. He called old Chuck on the phone line. Mi amigo, we're in a slum. Chuck said, hide inside the basement and blame it all on Trump. Ay caramba, Hakim, the budget's lost it seems. Now he's eating rice and beans, and they're laughing at him in memes. Ay caramba, Hakim, on the fake news he screams, while he's all out of steam, spilling salsa on his jeans. He tried to pass a motion, but the printer ran out of ink. He said, without our funding, even AOC can't think. The janitor stopped sweeping, the interns left in tears. Pelosi's bars out of margaritas for the first time in 50 years. Ay caramba, Hakim, the shutdown's quite extreme. Crying on TV screens, blaming MAGA for lost dreams. Ay caramba, Hakim, what happened to your team? It's in shambles behind the scenes, while Joe Biden eats ice cream.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Neerman, aka Good Lawgic. Hope you've gotten by. It's been a few days. It's been a minute. I've been feeling your absence. I've been feeling very lonely. Actually, not. This is the time of year that I get to hang with real life friends. Yeah, I have a couple, one or two real life friends. In fact, what I put up as the goal there, some of you who are longtime watchers of the show may know that the anniversary, the Hebrew anniversary, which is the only anniversary I ever remember of my mother's passing, is on a day that on the Jewish calendar is called Hoshana Rabbah. It's a to recognize Jewish holiday. So she happened to die on that day. So each year, there's a custom that some Orthodox Jews, not enough, have of eating a special meal in the morning of Hoshana Rabbah. That is the day that she passed. And that meal is called, my mother always called Hakataka. So I get my friends together for Hakataka. None of them had ever, all of them are Orthodox religious Jews, none of them had ever heard of Hakataka until my mother died. And I foisted this custom upon them. So it's basically an opportunity for me to come and hang with them. And we had a really interesting discussion. It was joking around mostly, but also a really interesting discussion, particularly about the hostage exchange and their thoughts on it, which were very different from my thoughts. And they really went a long way towards impressing upon me a whole different perspective, which made me feel somewhat better about the whole deal. But so I'll break that down. I don't want to go into the whole detail about it unless you guys want me to. And if you want me to, in that case, well, that's our super chat goal for tonight. Our nightly super chat yardstick, which we sometimes hit, sometimes don't hit. If we hit, great. If we don't, also cool. But that is, if we hit that yardstick, I'll go into a blow by blow. Probably take me 20 minutes, half hour to go through the whole thing, and I'll give you a little behind the scenes of what it's like when Joe's hanging out with his actual friends, which happens once a year. literally once a year. But yeah, so that was on Monday. And I'll break that down for you if we hit our goal, which is 15 super chats of $10 or more. I add super chats and Rumble rants. So if you're over in Rumble, don't say I can't do anything. You can help push us toward our goal. So there you go. That's if we hit our goal. What else do I have going? Oh yeah, there's someone backstage. That's right. That's right. One of my other real friends. One of my very, very real friends here.
Let's not overstate things, Joe. All right, let's calm down. All right, let's not put a label on this.
That is of course cynical, aka sin. Not at all trans, despite the name. So
what in the wait? Hold on, don't start that rumor. Let's...
dude. You're a dude who goes by sin.
Yeah. Well, it's stimulated cynic on all my social media, and everybody started just calling me cynic.
Yeah, that's not better.
You know?
That's really not stimulated.
It's too late now. You know what?
What I'm saying is stimulated sin is not better.
You know what?
It's not any better. It really isn't.
I can't change the brand now. I'm a little too far into it.
Oh yeah, that's what she said. And by that's what she said, I mean that's what sin said.
Let's not get off the subject of you pretending like you have real life friends. Okay,
I do have one or two. I do have.
Everybody pay to see me show you an AI video of me with air quotes real life friends. Yes, sure,
real life, some of my real life friends. No, I do have one or two real life friends. These are people who I think, like have met me, I've hung out with them, and that like if I was in the lurch,
yeah,
they would do nothing about it but feel guilty.
They would say, "Oh, too bad," but they would respond.
Wow, that really sucks, man. They'd feel bad.
Yeah,
when they did nothing. They would legit feel bad. Like no, really feel bad. But do nothing. So
I mean, I would help you, Joe, and I wouldn't consider myself a real life friend. All right, calm down. No, I'm kidding.
Anyway, how was your week, my brother?
Oh, it's been great, man. Like I was telling you before, getting ready for my godson's wedding, which I'm super excited about. Raised up a young man who's getting married at 23, has a great job. Yeah.
Wow. That's like ortho Jew territory to get married that young.
Man. Yeah. So he met a nice young lady. He asked her to marry him. They've got a house together. It's
he's religious. Right? He's a religious Christian.
Yeah, he's a Baptist like
you me. See, that's why they get married young.
Yeah, we both went to the same private Christian school, so we both have sort of the same morals and outlook on things. So it's very good. I'm proud of him, though. I'm very proud of him.
Right. No, but I'm saying is my take, having been to, I don't know if I've ever been to a Christian wedding. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've seen like countless on TV. Or in movies, but like I don't know if I've ever actually attended one. I can't remember ever attending. But my take is that, and I don't think that this is a very hot take. I think this is something most people would agree with, is that the more religious a Christian is, the more likely they are to get married before they turn 25.
Yeah, these young kids want to start a family together. They want to have kids, and so they're doing it in the right way. He came to me and asked me, and I'm, like I told him, man, let's do it. Let's get you hitched, boy. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of mockery about the fact that I lost in fantasy football this week.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
No one realized that. That's why I didn't stream Sunday or Monday.
Is that what it was? You were just ashamed.
I can't believe I lost. I came into the week 5-0, and yeah, look, I guess it happens to everyone. The guy who beat me was the first person in the chat tonight.
Oh.
And you know what the first words out of his mouth when he came to the chat? That's him.
I win.
Yeah. That's what I got. The second I opened up my chat, that's what I got.
No, my college team is doing pretty good. Alabama, Roll Tide. I think we've lost one game this season. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I'm feeling pretty good because I'm in 3 leagues that I've paid for, and so far we're through 6 weeks. I am literally 14-2. So out of the 3 leagues combined,
you've done good then. Yeah.
So, yeah. Really, does that make sense? That would be 16. No, I'm sorry, 16-2. I'm 16
Yeah.
and 2 in the 16 and I only have 2 losses. So that's really phenomenal. I can't really
Pretty good
complain
draft,
about.
man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't complain about that. Yeah. So but it was a game I was supposed to win, but then he went out there and his team just went crazy on me. Like they
Good.
just
Oh.
some of those wins I really got by the skin of my teeth, and I think Duck Fat is very
Hey,
excited because he lost by the skin of his teeth to me a couple weeks ago.
a
So
win
he's
is a win, man. A W is a W.
yeah, and this
Yeah.
and what I got from Joe this week was not at all. That was a shellacking. That was a pasting. I lost by 30 points. It's like everyone who went off this past Sunday was basically on this team, like Rico Dowdle and stuff. Anyway, let me get a couple of chats out of the way, and then I got one or two really short but videos that made
Yeah.
me laugh like crazy, and then we'll get on into our story. So, Pilot Grove is a member for 1 month. Look at this, Pilot Grove.
Pilot.
Love that you bring up family memories. You die twice: first your body, and second when the last person mentions your name. This is true. This is true. When I was a young man, I used to go visit a nursing home very regularly.
Yeah.
And there was a period, I don't remember what was happening in my life, but like apparently a lot of people were talking about me, and I wasn't liking the things that they were saying. There was this older Black woman who I used to visit every Saturday. I would go and I would basically talk to her. She was a very, very wise soul. And she basically said to me, she imparted this to me. She said, if people aren't talking about you, that means you're dead.
Oof.
And she's right.
Well, then I'm definitely alive then.
Who? So yeah, that's true. That's why after she said it to me, it really stuck, and I was like, yeah, I never worry about people talking about you in ways that you consider unflattering, because if you weren't significant to them, they wouldn't be talking about you.
Agree.
Right?
There you go.
So
yeah.
T-Rex says, Joe, I should like you to put on a beanie and yell about Civil War for 2 hours, please. I'll work on it. I'll get to it. Is that what Tim has been doing for the last couple of days?
Tim's been doing that for 5 years now. What are you talking? I quit listening to Tim Pool because that's all he did was, we're in a civil war, guys.
Guys, we're in a civil war.
Also, piss poor business, because why doesn't Tim Pool have his own brand of beanies yet? What are you doing, Tim? What are you doing?
These are good questions. I don't know what he's thinking. I actually heard him explain that the reason he wears the beanie is because when he's out of the beanie,
people don't recognize him. What is he?
People don't recognize
glasses?
him.
Come on.
Yeah. and he's like, that way he gets anonymity when he's like, he's with his wife and kids. So, which I can actually understand it, because he really does look very different without the beanie. I mean, he looks totally different.
Yeah, he looks 100 years old.
He just looks like a different human being.
You think he just walks into like a regular old bodega or grocery store and starts?
I think most people wouldn't recognize him. Without.
Just walks up and whispers, "Have you heard about the Civil War?"
Tim?
Tim? I didn't recognize you without the beanie on.
Dude's like Jefferson Davis or JH says, are you playing me? I want the full juice stories. Hold nothing back. Well, we'll see if we get there.
Tell us about those tunnels, bro. Let's do it. Let's get the super chat.
He wants the behind the scenes chats between me and my buddies. T-Rex says also, I'm just saying that Tim Pool has ramped up the Civil War rhetoric tenfold since Charlie Kirk. Oh, has he?
Oh, I mean, I can't blame him on that one, because I do think we're at the very precipice of something serious.
I think
first time I came on here. Yeah.
Tonight's conversation is actually I think that lends itself towards talking about whether or not that's the case.
Oh, I'm here for it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna definitely need your input on that. And your thoughts about that. Anyhow, but life would certainly be very different, very, very different, if we had the greatest presidential candidate in history sitting in the White House right now, and we could have, if only.
That is a decent resume, but go ahead. Well, some people have actually said I was the most qualified candidate ever to run for president.
She said that with a straight face.
I know.
I like I like the some people say. Very nice, but go ahead.
Some people
I'm
say,
just speaking
meaning
facts.
Doug
Yeah.
Emhoff.
That
So there you go, calling herself the best candidate. The best candidate. I want to get your thoughts. Do you think that she was the most qualified candidate ever?
What am I drunk and high? Of course not.
Why? I mean, she was a former prosecutor, a
Mhm.
senator, vice president. She was the most qualified person ever.
She doesn't even know what race he is.
She is the poster child for failing upwards. She really is. Like literally, like the more you suck at something, the more terrible you are at something, the higher job we're going to give you. So I guess she figured she could write that to the White House, but she does have like a CV that most people are like, wow, you had all these different positions. You're the top prosecutor in California, you're a senator, vice president. These are all the DNC, the presidential nominee. These are all things that, not too many people can claim to have more than one of those on their resume. And she got all four of them. So, as far as
giving an echo. Give me a second. Leave back out of StreamYard and come back.
All right, sure. You want me to pop you out?
I'm gonna actually leave the studio.
All right. I'll still let you back in. All right. Cars and Dimensions said, did you dance with your Anicle on Simchat Torah? I did. I only had one Anicle who was like under a year old, but I did. Anicle is Yiddish for grandchild. So I had one grandchild who I danced with today. She was very, very qualified, very, very highly qualified. Based on DEI, she's easily the most qualified candidate. based on that standard, for sure. All right, let's see if you're any better. We'll have you
Check. I don't know. No, it's still an echo. It's something on your end. What'd you do?
On my end. If I remove this from here, if I remove this from the studio, the echo's probably gone. But
All right. Yeah, there's the echo. What was that?
The echo's gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what that was, but I don't have it anymore. I've got the stream pulled up. Let me see here. Let me just double check.
No, I'll tell you right now. I just removed the other browser from I think if I mute this browser that I have you in, I just don't know if that's going to mute everything. No, that shouldn't mute everything.
No, it shouldn't.
So if I mute this browser that I have you in, perhaps that'll stop you. Because what I did was I removed the other browser from the stage, but I'm gonna have to add it back in when I'm showing videos.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
So I'm trying to figure out how to avoid having that echo. I haven't had that with anyone else. I haven't had that with you in the past. So I don't know why. Yeah.
Because none of my settings have changed. So
none of your settings have changed.
No. So I leave as soon as I'm done streaming. I don't touch this computer because I am a boomer. So
right. Yeah, I've actually seen Sin. You can't tell from his voice really, but like
man,
it's like Joe Biden's older brother.
Is that that's it. Mid-30s.
The reason his avatar has white hair is because 25 years ago, before he lost it, it was pearl white. So
oh man, good stuff.
You could see like the veins and the neck.
Hey, calm down,
hanging.
okay? Let's not say that. All right, I am a very mid young man. All right, let's calm down.
I'm just telling you what I remember seeing.
You need to get your prescription checked. Then you've got some real life friends, and I'm sure one of them is an optometrist. Go talk to him.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you got a super chat saying your problem right there. T-Rex and crypto travels.
Oh, everyone thinks they can solve my problems.
I love it.
You
dude.
guys think
greatest thing, right?
You guys think you can solve my problem. You can't solve my problem. The problems I have are not solvable by some super chat. But let's see. She was very qualified at putting on knee pads. This is true. She got down between the pipes.
Yeah.
And like any good hockey goalie, she got down with her knee pads between the pipes.
The funniest story I ever heard was
you like how I played that, by the way?
That was nice. Good job, Joe.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Thank you. Yeah, the funniest story you were saying?
The way she got her start in California with what's his name, Willie Brown.
Montel Williams first, and then with
Oh
Willie
yeah, I
Brown.
forgot about Montel. She was one of his side pieces, right?
Yeah, she was a side piece for Montel Williams, and then
Mayor Willie.
It's astonishing that so many people could handle being around that voice and laugh. You know, because you would think that these are people who really had access to anyone they wanted.
Yeah, knowing a lot of waspy wine moms, that's exactly what she reminds me of. So
Yeah. T-Rex says, I generally think my 3-year-old doggo is more qualified to run the country than Kamala Harris. He doesn't make people uncomfortable by cackling at them. You see? He knew what I was talking about.
there you go.
Don't mention sucking because I think you nailed it on the head quite literally.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. I'm sharing system audio and not adjusting the tab audio.
I read that and went, yeah, I speak Japanese.
That's the way I've always been doing it. That's the thing. I've been doing it that way for a while now. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. What's different? What's different? What makes this night different from all other nights?
I don't know, man. You've been away from your computer. Who's been messing with it? Ever thought about that?
I don't think I've been away from a computer that long.
Hmm.
I don't know.
That's why they kept her on her knees. Golly, the chat is vicious. That's my favorite thing about doing live streams in YouTube is I get told I'm funny and I really don't think so. But then I read my chat and I'm like, these people are hilarious.
Yeah. The chat is awesome. The chat is amazing. Speaking of amazing and hilarious, speaking of that, at the risk of having you echo again, maybe I'll just bounce you out every time I share a video.
I can mute on my end.
Maybe we'll try that. All right. So we have Nancy here. Nancy was not happy. Not a happy camper.
Congresswoman Pelosi, are you at all concerned that the new January 6th committee will find you liable for that day? Are you at all concerned about the new January 6th committee finding you liable for that day? Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you.
She looks so
Congresswoman
happy.
Pelosi.
Look at you see that face she gave at the end. She looks so happy with that she got him to like lose it. Look at this face she got. She's like so thrilled. She's like, I got her to scream shut up at me. But Nancy's out of her mind. She's literally out of her mind. And I think it's a display of the reliance that they have. Don't worry, I took out the audio here.
It's the fact that she turns around all tough and points at her. It's like you come in here with Republican talking points and then has to grab a guy's hand to waddle off. I'm just come on, Nancy.
It's not a Republican talking point that she had to approve anyone coming into the Capitol. That's the way it works, and that's the way it has to work. Because otherwise, if you think about it, it's not a danger. It's not a safe situation if there's no approval there. Because if you're a cop and you don't know there are other cops coming, and you see someone dressed as a cop, you think that's not a real cop. You know, so you sort of have to have coordination between different police agencies before you just allow people to come in there. And absent that coordination, which Nancy Pelosi is responsible for, there's no way they can come in because you're just creating greater risk. And this is something that came up when Kash Patel was testifying at the Colorado hearing. When Colorado was having a hearing to try to decide whether or not to keep Donald Trump on the ballot, Kash Patel went in there and testified. And he said, yeah, he authorized up to 10,000 members of the National Guards come in there. And here's letters where they said, don't send them, don't bring them in. But we had to have them ready to go. So we had them ready to go, but we never got the approval, and everyone knows this. So she's out of her mind. But I think she relies on the fact that the people who are her side of the aisle are never going to fact check with anything that's a legitimate fact checking source. So they're just going to stay in the dark, and that she gets her viral. I told that MAGA that MAGA to shut up.
But that's how none of these people do any research, though. Any of these blue-haired septum ring having People on TikTok.
Now you
right?
sound very faint. Like all of a sudden you just are like
Let me turn
moving
that
further
up.
and
I
further from your
removed
mic.
echo cancellation, so to try to help it out. Does that sound better?
No. You sound. I don't know what you did. You're trying to fix things.
I'm trying to, man.
And I don't know if anyone can hear you anymore. I can. Can you guys sit there at home? If you can just sort of like sign language to me what
I
he's
swear,
saying.
Joe. All right.
I have no.
Here, I just put echo cancellation back on. I don't know. I can't tell you. What I was saying though was that all these people on TikTok with the blue hair and the septum rings, they don't do any research. They expect to be spoon fed everything that
Yeah,
they're told by politicians. And I
that's
learned
true.
a long time ago because I had family in politics that you probably shouldn't pay attention to what they're saying, but what they're doing.
Yeah, no, there's no way you're gonna. One of the things, I mean, I'm not sponsored by Ground News
Yeah.
because they're stupid, but yeah,
Oh, Ground News is fantastic though.
the Ground News is really good as far as like sharing with you like what the left is hearing versus what the right is hearing,
Mhm.
and they're rarely the same story.
Yeah.
It's you'll hear this about the same. You see the same tidbit of information, but framed as two completely different things. So, speaking of which, this is a good opportunity. There's a good opportunity for us to get on into our featured main story, which I guess we'll start with big balls. That's what we're gonna start with. What?
I love it. No, I just love that guy has now made a name for himself.
Oh, he's made trust me. the dude has made a name for himself indeed. Although I should point out, Boomer Joe likely to find setting. I give it a 50-1.
Yeah, people are razzing you, man.
Oh, that's so mean. Everyone remember that one time Joe was blue and added himself to a stream twice? Because I did.
Oh, so the audio problem. The audio problem is not a new type of thing, especially if you.
I did add myself twice, and I saw myself on stream twice, and I was like, "Whoa, what did I do? What did I stumble on here?"
Yeah.
What it really was, I think, is that I had so many tabs open, and I was blasted, drunk, like blasted, and I had no idea how to find the other tab where I was in there.
Yeah.
So I was like, basically,
You didn't know which one you were actually in, so
right. So I basically was in the studio twice.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know how to find myself. Joe, your computer screwed up because of the juice, and I forgot to take out my trash morning because of the answer. Yep, it's always
their fault. Yeah.
Always the juice. Come on, Joe, take the shekels. Get sponsored by Ground News.
I mean, Ground News. If they wanted to pay me, I would take their money. But no, I really do. I love Ground News. It's not a commercial form, but if I want to know the spin on everything,
right,
that's the first website or app I go to. So
yeah, no, I would also, but like I can't recommend them because they haven't paid me to. So
I like to do the thing of give a little to get a little, and hopefully they hear me one day and they go, you know what, that Senate guy, good work for us. And
good work for us. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a screen because now we don't need to have audio, so I'll just share a screen without audio, and that should help. That should help alleviate the problem.
Yeah, I don't know what setting is doing that, but we'll figure it out one day.
We will one day figure that out. All right. The teens who jumped ex-Doge staffer Edward Big Balls Coristine avoid jail, sentenced to probation. Notice how we don't even get their names.
No.
We don't even know who
we get Big
these
Balls'
people
actual
are.
name.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Oh, you see, now I can't even play this audio because no one's going to hear it.
Oh,
but me.
Play it. Oh yeah. We'll
yeah,
play
I
it and I'll
could
be
play
quiet.
it. I gotta remove.
I don't know what you're doing, man. I don't know what you changed. That's not on me, man.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
That you may or may not have boomered up your own little setup. You know,
I don't know how that could have happened.
Being from the South, they say if it's not broke, don't fix it.
No, I'm just gonna mute you. So.
Good job.
That's really the best way to fix it.
All
right. There we go. No, seriously, I'm muting you.
Okay.
All right, maybe this will work for like a minute or so. We'll see what happens.
So what happened that night?
Yeah, I was hanging out with a group of my friends late at night, and at about 3 a.m., we were wrapping up, and I was walking one of my friends back to her car. And as we're walking to the car, there's a group of 10 guys right across the street. And as we get to the car and she begins to fumble for the keys, they start shouting at us. And really quickly, I knew something was really off about the situation. So she unlocks the car. I rush her into the driver's seat. She's able to close the door behind her and lock the doors. And, you know, right as I turn around, they run up on me, and they're just a few feet away. And they slam me against the car. They start throwing a bunch of punches. I keep my hands up. I'm just like, all right, I'm getting a lot of punches here. I'm just trying to protect my head the best way that I can. And, you know, luckily the whole thing didn't last too long. The police showed up pretty quickly. So I was very fortunate. I only came out with a broken nose and a concussion. It could have been.
All I got
Oh
was a
my
broken
God.
nose.
All right, so they were
concussion.
wailing on you. Did they get you down on the ground?
No. I knew that if I got down on the ground, it'd get way worse. So I was like, all right, no matter what, I just have to stay on my feet.
All right, so stay on your feet. You protect
Wow.
the head because you know what? Big Balls also has big brains, and that's very important. And you saved this lady friend of yours. You kind of saved more than her car. You might have saved her life.
Yeah, it was a really bad situation. And, you know, the carjacking didn't make a lot of sense because like it was like the cheapest car on the block. So it felt like there might have been something else going on there.
Okay, well, you're a brave guy and you're a lucky guy, and we're glad you're okay. And in a way, it kind of triggered a big crime crackdown in D.C. And in a way, you've saved a lot of lives in D.C. Why?
That's
did
an
you
interesting way of
come down-
looking at it. That like it called attention to just how terrible things were in DC. I'm going to unmute your mic for a second at the risk of. So I do think you can talk now. Don't worry.
I was nervous, man. Yeah, no, it's wild that just means that somebody was stalking him, right? Because he became famous doing the Doge stuff, and they just said, "Oh, okay, we're just gonna."
You think
put
so?
hands on
He
this
was
guy.
the target, not her.
Yeah, 100%.
It's possible.
Yeah,
It's possible.
I want to know, and this is gonna sound bad, but I want to know the
They're definitely black.
demographic
They're definitely
of
black.
the assailants.
They are black. That's one thing that I've seen.
Okay.
Is that
But were
people
they
in the know have said that they're black.
were they immigrant black, because you get a lot of those up there around Washington and New York, or were they
I don't
actual
know.
African Americans? Because that would explain a lot. But I think that the assailants were probably targeting him and not the young lady. That's the way
It's possible. I don't
Yeah.
know. Apparently she dumped him, so I guess it didn't work.
Oh man.
Yeah, but
Well, I mean, he did get his ass beat in front of her, so I'm just
anyway, so here's the story though. The teens who jumped him, they avoid
Mhm.
jail and are sentenced to probation. 2 teenagers who jumped former Doge staffer Edward Corristine avoided jail time after pleading guilty to simple assault in a Washington, D.C. court Tuesday. The boy and girl, both 15, from Hyattsville,
Hyattsville, Maryland.
that cannot be the proper spelling, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's Hyattsville.
there's a V or an F or both.
That's Hyattsville.
You do see a V and an F here, right? I mean, I'm not the only one who sees both of V.
Yeah, I'm
and an
pretty
F.
sure that F is silent.
So you think that's the proper spelling?
They may have misspelled it, but I mean, I'm pretty
From
positive.
Hyattsville, Maryland, was sentenced to probation by D.C. court judge just over 2 months after the pair were arrested for the vicious August 3rd attack. The boy was handed a 12-month probation and allowed to return
They
home
misspelled
under strict house arrest, while the girl was given 9-month probation and remanded to a local youth shelter.
Mm.
The teens also can't contact each other or linger in D.C. beyond school work and family obligations, the judge reportedly ordered. Ooh. Judge Kendra D. Briggs stressed she hopes the 2 assailants, who were not identified because of their age or demographics, learn from their stint on probation. Of course, lots of youths learn from their
last
stints
line.
on probation.
Mm-hmm.
She said juvenile court is focused on rehabilitating youthful offenders, not handing down punishments. What the hell is that? What?
That's the line that I saw today that was being plastered all over Twitter after you and I spoke on the phone, and I saw this story, and that's what was plastered everywhere. But
Yeah.
They don't care about rehabilitation. These judges now know who Big Balls is, and I guarantee you she's a Democrat. I'd be willing to put good money on it. And she's just saying, all right, cool. Way to go, boys. Way to handle somebody that I hated being in our
Yeah.
government for a little while.
Yeah. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt ripped into the decision to not lock the two teens up Wednesday while appearing on the Charlie Kirk show. Quote, one of the big issues in D.C. is these juveniles. They get a slap on the wrist, she said, according to the Washington Post. This administration has a completely different philosophy. We need law and order. I need to sneeze.
Yeah, they beat the brake. Bless you.
Thank you.
They beat the brakes off that guy.
They really did. Yeah. Their accomplices in the attempted carjacking and assault at approximately 3 a.m. in D.C. parking garage remain at large. We can't even get the names of those accomplices, so you can't even get that out of them.
Well, yeah, if they're minors, they normally don't give those out. But still, the fact that
why didn't they compel these two admitted offenders to name their accomplices?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, they definitely should have done, especially if they were going to give him probation. That would have been, if I was a lawyer, that's what I would have told him. Hey, you need to give me the other two guys, and then we'll give you probation.
But I don't even like this statement from Big Balls. Quote, I hope you can figure things out and be ready for the consequences, Korstein reportedly told the defendants via video link as he thanked the courts and police for their quick work in bringing the pair to justice. That's not justice. Where's justice?
Yeah, what are you doing, man? Like these guys assaulted you and potentially were trying to assault your date in a certain way. And you're fine with these guys getting a slap on the wrist,
Concussion and a broken nose by 10 guys.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
how many of the assailants were arrested? Two of them. So you have 8 other guys out there who are just laughing about this, and the 2 guys got probation, and they know who they are. They're still hanging out. You know they are, and so these guys are just nothing. It's cool. It's a revolving door in the justice system nowadays when it comes to things.
Trump's quote was, we just almost lost a young man, beautiful, handsome guy that got the hell knocked out of him. If DC doesn't get its act together and quickly, we'll have no choice but take federal control of the city and run the city how it should be run and put criminals on notice that they're not going to get away with it anymore. President later took controversial moves to take over the local police department and ship the National Guard to patrol city streets until September 10th. So, and that's pretty much what Allegan News is pointing out. Trump loved his big balls, which is why the Fed crackdown on crime was started. And I think he's correct. I agree with him on that assessment. But you see how they get like, whoops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. You
Just
see how
all
they
the disrespect tonight, Joe. Like, what are we doing, man? Muting me, kicking me.
That's true. That's true. It's so.
What can Trump do though? Right? If can he legally overrule this judge? I mean, he can't, can he? Because separation.
No,
of powers,
there's nothing
right?
you can do. There's nothing. You can do.
Yeah,
nothing. There's nothing anyone can do, short of removing this judge. But
that's not going to get punishment on these guys.
No more punishment. Correct.
Yeah. So,
correct.
but you could still get the other 8 guys and then punish them pretty heavy-handedly if you wanted to.
How are you finding them? You can't even get these people to talk now because they've been sentenced to the full. How are you going to find them? You're not going to find them.
I mean,
so
now I'm treading into thought territory that I don't like about like surveilling these guys. And I'm going, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, that does sound that does sound a bit overreactionary.
A little bit, yeah. Well, I have to catch myself there.
Now I'm thinking that we should be implanting things in their brains and ask them questions and then see what images pop up in their heads.
Send them to vacation in Guantanamo, and just for like,
this is just a thought experiment that we're having here.
Exactly. Send them
as
down
far
there.
As how to like get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. Send these young men down there to the beach. It's clearly a vacation, guys, and just ask them a few questions while holding a phone book in your hand. I'm just spitballing.
Just
thinking outside the box.
You get one of those neural links from Elon.
From Elon, right?
Right. Or one of those Star Trek bugs, wigworm things that you shove into their ear,
implanted into their brain,
and control them and say, go hang out with the people you were with that night.
And then we surveil them. Hey man, I think we figured it out. What more do we need?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you something. You know, what we're joking about here, which we're obviously joking about, really
Yeah.
is a perfect segue into the other main story that I really want to spend a long time. We're going to spend most of our time talking about tonight, which
Okay.
is the story that broke over the last couple of days by Politico, where they think that, or they feel like they got this massive scoop about like what's really going on inside with the young Republicans, and they wrote a whole long story about it, which has caused a massive brouhaha. And that story is, quote, "I love Hitler." Leaked messages expose young Republicans' racist chat. Thousands of private messages reveal young GOP leaders joking about gas chambers, slavery, and rape. Now, here's the thing. Even they recognize
That is
that
joking.
it's joking, right? I mean, this
Yeah.
is that little tagline there. Like, it actually gives away that if you read these in context, they're not genuinely saying, you know, that they're hoping that, you know, everyone who votes no is going to go to a gas chamber,
Yeah.
you know. But then they even when they obviously, I don't know how these things leaked, but however it leaked, that when they're reading it, that they could tell this was humor.
Somebody
And
got paid.
probably,
Yeah.
probably. And the thing is, like, when you're reading something that's, you know, a text message, as everyone who's ever, you know, who's been alive for the last 20 years recognizes, it's so easy to lose context, right?
Yeah, you don't get the inflection or tone in the voice at all, which it causes a lot of problems
Yeah.
when you know mainly discuss things through text or DMs. So
Right, and especially taken out of context. If someone took a transcript of any
Mhm.
show that you know, countless shows that I've done, they would probably think like I hate Jews or whatever. To get a little clip here, a little clip there,
Yeah.
and or that I, you know, or black people or any other
Native
intersectionality
Americans
you can name.
mainly, from what I've seen.
Precisely, definitely,
We
definitely,
discussed that last week, you know, that and
definitely,
the cult.
yeah,
So
definitely the Sioux Indians. Yeah, that they would be.
that's SUE because well that's heritage.
That's my heritage. I like that. Yeah. So so if you take something out of context, obviously anything can sound ridiculous and racist and some sort of ist. And that's why this entire thing really is a big nothing burger. But look how long you want to, you can tell this is a really long article because this little tab thing over here in the upper right corner is so
Oh, yeah.
small. Look how long this goes on. I don't know if
Let
we
me
wanna
ask you something though
have the
before we
patience
delve
to
into
read
this,
through all
right?
of this.
You say
Yeah.
you have real life friends. Do you have a friend that you can openly joke with about anything that knows this is just mine and Joe's conversation, or maybe a group of them that you can say jokes like this and they know it's
Yeah.
not serious? Nobody's gonna
It's literally that same group who I invite to come rock and talk.
exactly. And so I say it all the time with like my co-hosts that I do my show with, right? Like if somebody leaked our DMs, they would be like, "Oh, these guys are insane. These guys
Right.
are crazy." And
Right.
but that's because we know because we've been around each other for so long, the inflection whenever you're reading it, right? Their tone whenever you're reading it
Right.
versus some guy from the third party coming in and reading this. If you took a comedy show and you took the laugh track out, would it be as funny? Would you get the jokes like they want you to? Is the way I
Yeah.
look at it. So
Um and first and foremost, it's an interesting thing what you say with respect to the laugh track. I
Yeah.
saw you know, one of the most popular shows of the late 90s, early aughts was Friends, right? And I
Yeah.
saw a 15-minute clip of Friends without the laugh track. And the two things that stick out is A, it's not funny, like at all.
You're gonna get your show torch for that one. Calm
It's
down.
really not. That's get out of here. You sent that to me? Thanks. It's pretty funny. My Lady Logic just shared something with me where she's like, whatever. I'll share with you. If we hit our goal, I'll share it with you. She has her laughing. It has her laughing giddily. So if we hit our goal, which I think we will hit our goal tonight, we're well on our way towards hitting our goal. So I'll try to share that with you guys also. Though I gotta figure out how to dig it off of WhatsApp and get it up on my screen here. But so the first takeaway I had is it's not funny. The second takeaway I had is they have such a long, unnatural gap of time between
Waiting for the laugh track.
that the
Oh,
conversation
no, I didn't even think about
is
that. Yeah.
it's so stupid.
It's
like
foreign then.
I wish I could play if I played it for you. I'm sure NBC
You
would
get
just come.
struck. Oh, so
They'd be
hard. Yeah.
crashing my stream down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd catch
like
a strike on my stream for
you
just being
you would catch.
The
you would-
NBC would be
they would
harassing
give
us.
you COVID. Like,
Yeah.
that's what they would.
In a heartbeat.
You would be like,
You
oh
play
my
nothing
God.
from NBC. Don't do it.
Why did NBC gave me COVID? That's what they would do.
Mhm.
This is not medical
Yeah.
advice, but it is true. I'm just saying they would totally if you were just on stream with me when I played some
Just
clip
for
of
playing
that.
anything from them. It's crazy, man. They're wild.
Especially that because it's really peeling back the curtain as to how terrible Friends actually is. In stark contrast,
Mhm.
the show that preceded Friends, that I am amazed at how well the humor holds up.
Mhm.
Well, the show that really preceded it, as far as the big hit, was Seinfeld, which does not hold up nearly that well.
Oh, good. I'm glad you
25
said
years
that.
later,
Thank you.
it does
Yeah.
not hold up well. 25 years later, it's not funny.
Mhm.
And back then, I thought it was genius, and it does not hold up nearly that well. Cheers holds up remarkably well.
Oh yeah, Cheers, a great show. Yeah.
Cheers holds up remarkably well. Like it's astonishing to me how it's not as funny as it was, but it's still like you'll get some laughs.
Yeah,
out of it.
it's not evergreen because it is definitely of the time. But yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So, and I have people over here saying that I'm defending these Republicans who were talking about marching people to the oven. This is what one of my Paulie here is a guy who he watches my show fairly regularly. He's
Good.
probably he's definitely in the 10% most liberal part of my
Nice to meet
audience.
you, Paulie.
But he actually is able to engage in commentary that's not trolling. Like he's he used to troll a little bit, but he's actually gotten really good as far in general, as a general, not to toot his horn. And what I will tell you, Paulie, is that I am not blind to the growing levels of racism and anti-Semitism that has been burgeoning, and people love to point out that they love to pretend that it's since Trump was elected. No, it was burgeoning really
Way before that.
Ever since October
JQ has
7th.
been around for a minute now.
Since October 7th, it's really been burgeoning, where people have been like F the Jews, and really blatantly anti-Semitic is and terrible sentiments that have been burgeoning. I'm not blind to it. I'm not blind to the fact that the likes of Nick Fuentes, no matter how much of an obvious glowy he is, has grown in popularity. Or that Candace Owens has basically been able to turn her career into be like she's on steroids now, ever since she basically blames every problem in the world on the Jews in Israel.
I mean, she's right, but still, we're not going to go there. But yeah,
right. Yeah. So, and that's I'm not blind to that. I understand that that's definitely a growing issue, and I'm not giving a pass to everyone here. I don't know that everyone here is good.
Though.
I don't know that everyone here is innocent in their commentary. Maybe some of them are part of this.
Maybe some of them mean it.
Yeah. Maybe some of them really.
How do you decipher that in a group of friends and then a group text?
Exactly.
Because that's why I asked you what I did. I also want to ask you, as a Jewish man, have you ever made an oven joke to one of your buddies, joking around?
The best line I think that I ever had.
Oh, I'm here for this. You got super serious. Okay, I am all ears and perked up.
The best line I ever had. I used to go on Nick Reca's channel a lot.
Yeah.
I still consider him a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like a good friend.
Oh, yeah.
And in there, I sort of feel as if, much like here, Over
Mhm.
here, I think that the level of anti-Semitism is like literally at most like 2 in 1,000.
Yeah.
It's like it's very, very low.
Mhm.
Okay, very, very low. And I would tell you that when I was watching, I would watch Nick Cage chat as far as like what I would feel like, okay, this person genuinely does not like Jews. I would
Mhm.
say probably was like 5 to 10%.
Okay.
That's what I that was the vibe I got.
Mhm.
Then you have like 20, 25% or 40% even, which we making jokes which are totally meant in good taste. Like
Yeah.
not at all or in bad taste, but definitely jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely intended as humor, which I would never take offense from at all. Even if it landed poorly, I wouldn't take offense from that. So um and sometimes you really can't tell. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. That could be someone who's like, I'm really not sure.
Is he
Really
being
not
serious or
sure.
isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna just assume. You're better off just assuming that it's intended as humor.
Yeah. And so,
So
assuming innocence of the joke.
unless it's
Yeah.
obviously, sometimes it's
Mhm.
just obvious. Like there's no way to read that as a joke, even if you're trying
Yeah.
to, right? But yeah. So with respect to that, the best comeback I ever had was when I was talking about dieting, and I've told this one on my show here. I was talking about how I was dieting and I was like losing weight. So someone asked me if I considered trying the Holocaust diet. I was like, it was a super chat that Nick read, and he read out loud, and I was like, I thought about it, but then I realized it would give me too much gas. And
I can't.
and it's like,
Oh.
in that sense, like you're like, and what I learned is if you turn it into a joke, then in that case you become impervious. Like, what do you?
Exactly. Yeah.
You wear it as armor.
That's it. No,
So
that's how you have to do it, especially on the internet, man, because you again, like we were saying with these text messages that we're going to go through, you
yeah,
can't determine somebody's inflection or tone. They could have wrote that super serious,
right.
but I always assume innocence, especially being online all the time. What are you going to do about it, right?
Right. If
Uh,
it's possible to be read as a joke, I'll read it as a
that's
joke.
what I do. Yeah, agree.
If it's sometimes it's
That one
impossible
was a
to read
good
as a
one.
joke.
That one was great though.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's if it's possible to read as a joke, I'll read it as a joke. If not, then I'll be like, all right. So like
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of yours either. It's like, trust me, I'm not a big fan of you too. So
Yeah.
we're good. Yeah, I got it. You don't like me, I don't like you. It's like I'm still here. What do you want me to do?
Sometimes it happens. Yeah, I get it.
Like, there are gonna be some people out there that are just not gonna like Jews. That's
Oh.
that's the way it's always gonna be.
I only like a
worry
couple
about
of
that.
them, I only like a couple of them.
Right.
But I put
If we earn your approval, that's
that's
pretty
it.
much
Yeah.
what we talk about in synagogue. How tips
Huh.
for earning sin's approval. That's like a thing. That's like a
I
thing
knew
that
it.
we all have.
I knew it. They were always talking about me. I said it the whole time. Everybody said I was crazy. I was like,
Everyone
nah.
wondered what were all those secret meetings about. Yeah, no, that's how do you earn sin's approval. So that's what it's not about the space lasers
Nope.
or how to take over Wall Street. Ha
Nope.
ha, like that we still need to do that. But no, it's a matter of how do we get sin's approval. So come on, Joe, take the shekel.
I'll be right back, Joe. Give me a second.
Ground news. I didn't know that ground news gets you past paywalls. Is that true? I never tried that. T-Rex says, what does it say about human nature? The exact oldest tree, Hyperion, somewhere in Redwood National Forest, and the oldest tree located somewhere in Inyo National Forest is kept secret because people will destroy it. That is a pretty sad statement. That really is. We won't tell you what it is because we're sure someone's going to rip it down. That is pretty awful. A Brown with the generous 50. Have you tried threatening your router with a firearm? Maybe the StreamYard problems will stop. I have not tried that yet.
Oh,
That's
a brown
not been-
CBR. That's one of my viewers. Nice
Oh,
to see you,
wow.
buddy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you bringing in like some of the people, the paying customers,
I do
until
what I
now
can.
it was all the moochers. When A Brown comes in here, is like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. I'm just playing you. And by the way,
Mhm.
I do this for the views and for the giggles. So
Oh, of course.
yeah. Hyperion is the tallest tree. Sorry about the typo. Don't worry. Same thing. Same. Tallest or oldest. Your point is the same. Ron Coleman radicalized you as well. He should. As well, he should have. He actually had a grandson a week ago. A new grandson.
Oh, congratulations, Ron Coleman.
Yeah. So I didn't see him this weekend. This weekend he was out of town because he had his over the holiday. Because he had he had a family event. I don't like anyone to begin with. The Jews are special. Well, it's pretty funny. I don't like anyone. The Jews aren't special in that aspect. Oh, well, I ruined my own damn joke with another typo.
Good job, T-Rex.
I know that feeling, T-Rex. I know that feeling. Also, I had Uzelian said, Joe, come on. We need you to talk about Collargate and how the new dog wasn't even wearing the collar to
Oh,
start
man.
with.
We've been
What?
covering that on
I don't know
my
what
show.
Collargate is. What is
Hassan
that?
Piker. So Hassan
Oh.
Piker used a shock collar on his dog, and come to find out, he had spot trained his dog, which means when she was a puppy, he would tie her to the bed where she would be in camera frame to have her in the background of his streams and make her stay there the entire streams. And the man does 4 to 6 hour streams and will not let her move off the bed. And so to continue that, as she became a 3-year-old dog, which, 21 years old in human years, he now uses a shock collar. So when she gets too far from the bed, he zaps her so she gets back in frame. Yeah, so we covered pretty much all weekend on my show, which led into some funny shenanigans.
Because he is purely evil.
Yeah, and he admitted to spot training her, and so which is there's only 2 ways to do it, and one of them takes a lot of patience, and the other one is a lot of abuse, and he chose the route of abuse.
So I want to share with you why it is that story horrifies us, or should properly horrifies us. Okay, because when you see how someone treats their pet, they are reflecting how they were invariably reflecting how they would treat a human that they have control over.
Yes.
That's what they're actually telling you. So when I'm telling you right now that if he was ever in a position of some sort of authority, he would be totally comfortable, because if you're able to do that to someone, here's the interesting thing about the way human psychology tends to work.
Okay.
When we see a newborn and someone being abusive to a newborn, and we're horrified by that, and far less horrified when someone, if they do the exact same abusive conduct, we'll be horrified, but not to the same degree if they do the same abusive conduct to someone who's 30.
Exactly. Okay. Yes.
Okay. And the reason for that is because, and this is what I believe at least, that the reason for that is that we assume that person who is 30 has done some level of evil in their life, where this is almost something that they deserve to some degree. They might deserve this.
Yeah.
But they deserve it more than that purely innocent, fresh out of the womb newborn. So
exactly. Yeah.
So that's why I think, and they're more helpless to stop anyone from doing it also. So between those two elements, the helplessness and the fact that we sort of attribute some level of guilt to someone just by dint of them having aged, made trips around the sun. We don't know anything about them. We have no reason to assume that they're not the most virtuous, respectable individual who might be, saving puppies all the time, or, helping feed the homeless. But we assume that there's some level of evil within them, which makes it more forgivable that they're being subjected to abuse.
They've done something along the way, which, means they may potentially deserve this.
Right.
So,
which is why if someone's willing to do that to a puppy or a dog, it's obvious that they would clearly do that to a grown adult.
Of course.
They would, with much less reservation.
Exactly. 100%. There's no doubt about it. So, but how do you feel about people who will see something like that and then take up for that person, or hand wash it away, or start sweeping for them? because that's what we really covered. So we covered the Hassan thing, I believe Friday, and then we covered people's response to it that are in our circle of the indie comic book scene that we talk about. And
Right.
so I find it, me personally, where the first one is extremely egregious for you to see that and then take up for them. I find
Right.
that to be a little more egregious because you know it's bad.
Right.
And you could do something to potentially stop it or stand up against it. And you're choosing the other way because you just agree with that person, not because of what they're doing, but because of your same
You like
opinion,
that
right?
person
You
because you
like
like
that
that
person.
person.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
you're sort of sweeping for that person
Mhm.
to protect that person.
Yeah.
And I understand, and yeah, I understand your utter frustration. And to a degree, we're all, I think, somewhat naturally inclined to do some level of sweeping, to
Yeah.
be fair,
Well,
right?
let's
You-
say this, right?
You're gonna be much quicker to be judgmental against someone that you dislike versus someone being judgmental against someone that you like, because the person you like, you feel like you know them, and that
Yeah.
this is not, and that the egregious behavior we're seeing is not reflective of their true self, as opposed to the person we dislike. That when we see them doing something terrible,
You
we're
now
like,
have
you're
something to
just
beat 'em over the
reconfirming
head
what I
with.
already
Yeah.
knew. I already knew you were a terrible person. Now
So
you're
my
just
thought
reconfirming
process
it.
works like this, right? I believe that you need to clean up your own house before you worry about your neighbors.
Hmm.
And so if that person is a person that I like or accept or have the same opinion as, I believe that person, I should be the one stepping up first because we are in the same circle, right? I sins, let's say, in a way, right? In a matter of speaking. And so when I see someone going, yeah, I like this person or I agree with this person or whatever it is, however they get to that point, I find that utterly disgusting because you should be standing up against that person. Um, because you do hold respect for them, right?
Right. Yeah. Do you have a dog?
Oh yes, yeah.
What kind
Well,
of dog? What kind of dog you
it's
have?
a corgi. So it's my mom's dog. It's my little sister, is what I call her. But yeah, she's a little corgi. And then before that, I had a half corgi, half lab. And then we raised English bulldogs my whole life. So
Oh wow,
yeah,
Corgi's cute.
yeah. I'm actually going to look at one to move up here to the murder cabin with me Saturday.
Nice.
A little boy. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, so
Right. So when the gang of roving thieves comes through and butchers your dog, are you going to go
Mhm.
John? You're going to go John Wick on them?
in a heartbeat, no questions asked. All the Alabama guns that were lost in a boat will be found,
Uh,
and we're going full John Wick. So
yeah. Well, um, there's a special place in hell for animal abusers.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they're
There
wholly
is.
innocent.
There
They're
is.
wholly innocent. They are what you put into them, and
Yeah.
they subsist wholly on you. Right? They can't feed you. They can't feed themselves anymore. They can't take themselves to the doctor, and the fact that you would do that to them makes my stomach hurt.
Like it's a betrayal
Exactly. Yeah.
of what your duty should be.
Yes. 100%.
I agree with
Dogs
that.
and kids don't mess with them.
Agree with that totally. All right, let's get back into this article here. All
Let's
right.
do it.
Leaders of young Republican groups throughout the country worried what would happen if their Telegram chat ever got leaked, but they kept typing anyway. They referred to Black people as monkeys and the watermelon people and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about R-wording their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans who they believe support slavery. William Hendricks, the Kansas Young Republicans vice chair, used the words, I assume that's nagger?
You better be easy. You're tiptoeing down a tightrope.
That's like this is like this is, and the clue is these are people who annoy us. Sorry, that's a South Park reference. Variations of the racial slur more than a dozen times in the chat. Bobby Walker, the vice chair of the New York State Young Republicans at the time, referred to that type of abuse as epic. Peter Giunta, who at the time was chair of the same organization, wrote a message in June that everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. Like, who literally thinks that that's someone who's like, that this is something that is worth reporting? Like, how does someone come to a conclusion that this is something that's worth reporting? When you're reporting this, you're simply showing just how desperate you are to try and find something to
Mhm.
some way of getting that scalp too. I need to get that guy also. So
Yeah.
it's like I'm going to try and throw him in here. I can understand someone saying, "Okay, you're using the N word." Even when they're using the N word, by the way, there's a very big difference between using it with an A or UH versus ER. And this is something everyone knows. I mean, that apparently it's like it's a whole different thing. And I'm not
It
I'm not.
is, but it's
It,
also man, this conversation actually came up on my show this weekend too.
okay,
Because I'm a free speech absolutist.
right.
Okay. And you are either it's all okay or none of it's okay.
Well, here we go.
And
So help me, brother. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm easy, calm down. But with that being said, let's say if I came on your show, let's say I was known for making Jew jokes, right?
Hmm.
And I came on your show and you said, you know what, I like you, but I don't like the Jew jokes.
Right.
I wouldn't do them to you out of
Right.
respect for you.
100%.
But in my own personal life or with my friends or whatever, or even on my show, barring somebody saying, hey, I'm uncomfortable with that, and that just
Why
triggers my
wouldn't you?
respect part of my brain,
Why wouldn't you?
right? Yeah, I believe that you should be able to say what you want to.
Right.
So
100%.
yeah,
100%. Yeah.
that's the way I see it. And it's hard to explain that to people lately. So
It
but
shouldn't be. It should.
well,
This is not something we should have to try to explain to people. This is something that everyone, and in fact, I don't even think we really do need to explain it. I don't think we do, other than the fact that there's been such a concerted effort to try and police our thought and speech
mhm,
to such a degree that people have been cowed into accepting a false reality that
mhm.
if we stop people from using certain words or making certain statements that's going to change how they think or feel about something, or that if someone is willing to use those words that's reflective of a dark soul or a dark mind or something
Well,
like that.
yeah, exactly. But it to me, and I always try to do everything as simple as possible. It goes back to Bugs Bunny, right? Sticks and stones may break
Hmm.
my bones, but words will never hurt me. We give words power, and if you take that power away from them, then they'll no matter what I say to you, it'll never kill you. You know what I mean?
Right.
No matter how offensive it is. And
Right.
when you take that power away from those words, then there's people don't want to use them in a risque way anymore. There's no point in even using them. They're gone. So
Hmm. Uzelian also sent me another rant, by the way, where he said, here's more money because the
nice.
mini Mussolini is getting close to leading mini Stalin in the polls in the New York mayor race,
Mm.
which I don't think that Cuomo has any chance of taking out
Oh yeah,
Montgomery.
I saw a guy going on about that the other day. I just and I didn't know anything about it. There's a Cuomo is going to try to be mayor of New York again. Well, mayor of New
Well,
York. He was governor of New York
he
State.
was governor in the
Yeah.
past.
So good
You know what?
luck.
You know about the whole Cuomo situation?
What is that?
Okay, see, he was a terrible governor.
Yeah, of course.
He was terrible,
Hmm.
and I railed about this at the time. So this is not. I was screaming about this at the time. He lost his position because he was basically a gross human being in the way that he dealt with women. I'm not going to sit here and defend the way he looked at or said or thinks about women or whatever. I'm not going to defend that because he was gross, and it was beneath what a politician should do, right? In other words, you're in this position, you shouldn't be like treating women like meat, or making you should be policing yourself more than guys in a locker room, right?
Yeah, of
You're not the
course.
same
Yeah.
thing. You have to recognize that. So I think that what he did there was gross and wrong, and that destroyed him and his brother. It took that those jokes he made or those comments he made destroyed him and Fredo, both of them, like, had their careers destroyed for that. This is a guy who was literally responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of elderly with his ridiculously foolish and predictably disastrously lethal COVID policies, where he took people, and he was one of 5 governors, all of them Democrats, who implemented a policy saying we're going to change the normal Medicare approach with elderly COVID patients and put them back into their facilities before they're completely recovered, because we need to clear up hospital space. So since we have such overcrowding in our hospitals, we're going to rush them out even while they're still contagious and put them back in their facilities, and facilities are barred from being allowed to stop them from coming back just because they have COVID. This is what this guy did. And as an obvious result, what he could have done, he should have done, is he should have said, someone who has COVID is going to go into their own special facility, and we're going to put these people who have COVID into a COVID designated facility. This is something that anyone who with half a brain would say, that's what we're going to do. No, that's not what he did. He put them in there with folks who had no signs at all of having COVID, and basically let COVID spread like wildfire through these adult care facilities to the people who are most susceptible of having a fatal dose of COVID. And then New York, and then meanwhile, he gets hailed for his leadership during COVID. He would take whatever Trump said and 3 hours later repeat it. Trump would get bashed for it, and he would be hailed as the leader we need while he's implementing these obviously disastrous policies. He killed so many people. He could have just gone in there and just stabbed them, put them out of their misery faster, rather than the way he tortured and basically spread COVID through these adult care facilities and received praise for the way he handled COVID, whereas he lost his job so if you basically were a woman who was in an adult care facility, he's killing you. No one cares about that. But if she was 40 years younger and he's making some joke about her body, that's why he gets fired. Like, think of how insane you have to be to actually, in your scale of things of what's a punishable offense, that basically, slapping some woman in a place that he never should be doing is considered much, much, much more egregious. Oh my God, we can't have this guy, compared to literally putting her in the ground and killing her. I mean, think of how insane that is.
I agree with you, but I also think that they may have been positioning themselves to take him out already, and they could not go against what the Democratic Party line was at that time. So they used this as a means to an end.
That's a surprisingly insightful comment from you, son.
I've read a book once.
So you're saying it was all like he was getting too powerful. So
yes.
They decided there are folks who were like, we don't want him to become the next presidential candidate.
Exactly.
So let's take him out.
Yeah. I think the powers to be, and they couldn't go against their own narrative at that time because
they also and they also wanted him to be the contrast from Trump, where it's like, this is what real leadership is. Yeah. So they couldn't attack him for that, no matter how stupid and terrible
or
his policies
egregious
were.
Or disgusting it was. Exactly.
Right.
And he made an oopsie that was you can't look, when it comes to sexual impropriety, they can hammer you on that 10 times out of 10. So that's what they did.
Right.
That's the way I always saw it anyway.
Kimmy says, disagree slightly, has to do with defending yourself. Infants, puppies, elderly can't defend. Grown women can't defend. Can defend a little. Grown man can defend. Well, people seem to have much higher. You're right, Kimmy, and I did mention the helplessness of the victim as being a factor, but people have much, much, much greater horrified reaction to someone being abusive to an infant than they are to an 80-year-old man or 80-year-old woman. They'll be much more horrified. Yeah.
There's a hierarchy for sure. But
this is Pippin behind me. She's not spot trained.
Good. Thank you. Because
God
there's only 2 ways to do that. And one is mainly used and it's very abusive. So
All right. So Guinto was referring to an upcoming vote on whether he should become chair of the Young Republican National Federation, the GOP's 15,000-member political organization for Republicans between 18 and 40 years old. Quote, I'm going to create some of the greatest physiological torture methods known to man. We only want true believers, he continued. 2 members of the chat responded, everyone that votes no is going to gas chamber, and everyone that endorsed but then votes for us is going to the gas chamber.
Everybody's going to the gas chamber.
When do we start bullying, dude? We have to solid 3 people who can probably have them want to jump. If they vote for us, why would they be gassed? When do we bring their side out? So we only want true believers. It's like, who cares? Like, why is someone getting upset about this?
This looks like the Good Logic group chat that we have, though. It's so
It
weird.
does.
It's
It
not a
looks
cult, though.
It looks a lot like that. A lot like that. Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. I'm ready to watch people burn now. We got to pretend that we like them. Hey, come on in. Take a nice shower. Relax. Boom.
Come on, man.
This is so obviously a joke.
Yes.
And it's insane. It's insane that this is like a breaking news. Like,
disgusting, right? It's I'm appalled over here. I am clutching pearls at this moment.
Yeah, which is the actual phrase that JD Vance said, like all the pearl clutching here, when you had a guy running for AG in Virginia, Jay Jones, who basically said that he wants to, kill a conservative and his wife and kids, like lunacy. And they still wouldn't retract their support for him. Which is sort of what you were talking about earlier.
It's 100% the same thing. I see it all the time. So
yeah, it's part of a trove of Telegram chats obtained by Politico and spanning more than 7 months of messages among young Republican leaders in New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. Chat offers an unfiltered look at how a new generation of GOP activists talk when they think no one is listening. Like, they actually make jokes, I guess, is how they talk. Since Politico began making inquiries, one member of the group chat is no longer employed at their job. So inquiries means like since they started exposing people, right?
Yeah, they started snitching on people. They started calling around and going, "Hey, do you know whoever this person is?" So
another's job offer was rescinded. Promised New York Republicans, including Elise Stefanik and State Senate Minority Leader Robert Ord, have denounced the chat. And festering resentments among young Republicans have now turned into public recriminations, including allegations of character assassination, extortion. The 2,900 pages of chats shared among a dozen millennial and Gen Z Republicans between early January and mid-August chronicle their campaign to seize control of the National Young Republican Organization on a hardline pro-Donald Trump platform. So this way they can try and tie it into their pro-Trump. That's why they're racist. Yeah. Because everyone who supports Trump is racist. So that's, of course, that's how Politico is trying to like tie that in. Many of the chat members already work inside government or party politics, and one serves as a state senator. Serves as a state senator. So this is their way of saying this problem is very real and very pressing because these are people in power. Together, the messages reveal a culture where racist, anti-Semitic, and violent rhetoric circulate freely, and where the Trump era loosening of political norms has made such talk feel less taboo among those positioning themselves as the party's next leaders. Quote, the more the political atmosphere is open and liberating, like it has been with the emergence of Trump and more right-wing GOP even before him, it opens up young people and older people to telling racist jokes, making racist commentaries in private and in public, said Joe Fegan, a Texas A&M sociology professor who has studied racism for the last 60 years. I can guarantee you I know more about racism than this guy does. He also concerned the words would be applied to public policy. It's chilling, of course, because they will act on these views. Where's your concern? Where's your concern about all the racism from the left? Because the left is far more racist, far more anti-Semitic. They hate the very people they purport to be standing up for. They implement policies which are self-destructive for those groups. But it's always the lashing. It's always the pearl clutching is about things that, people on the right do. And again, I am mindful. I don't ignore. I am mindful that there is a growing level of anti-Semitism. There is more and more. There's more hatred for Jews by both left and right today than there was at any time in my life. It's not even close. It's
especially
much
on the side of the left since October 7th. I mean,
100%.
I
100%.
never thought. I mean, the right has always done the Judeo-Christian thing. The left, of course, most of them being faithless, have never done that, and now after October 7th, seeing them come out and do actual protests that are, you know, jackboot sort of protests. It's wild to me that they
You can't wear a
run
yarmulke
like that.
in Europe anymore.
Really, I didn't know that.
You can't.
Huh?
And it's not because of the right. It's because of the left.
Wow.
You can't. You're putting your life in you're putting your physical safety in jeopardy. I mean, I shouldn't say nowhere in Europe. There are some
But yeah, I
pockets
get it.
there,
Yeah,
you know.
you're doing a
What I'm
blanket
saying
statement.
is if you're just, you know, touring around Europe, there's no
More
way
likely for you to be assaulted because of
because
well,
you're a Zionist,
yeah.
right?
So do
And
you
that
think that has everything to do with just the influx of Muslim immigrants over there, or does it have you know, is it a mixture of the left wing now seeing the Jewish or Israel as Zionists and Jewish people as a part of Israel, and so it's more of a mix of both now?
and then the weird thing is that a lot of Jews don't even support the state of Israel.
Yeah, I know.
And
I've had this conversation with them before because
right.
a lot of them don't support Zionism in the way that Israel is, right? So
I think that the Israel topic is the one topic that unifies the extremes of both parties.
I never thought about it that way, but yeah, you're right.
I mean, the extreme right and the extreme left are in lockstep with each other, and it's the only issue they agree on. They can't stand each other in any other way, but they are in lockstep on this particular issue.
Which is now
And
pulling the middle apart, and probably pushing a more center right if you took a look at it.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. That leads people like Tim Pool to talk about civil war. But yeah, that's it's like when I point this out to, I'm like, I point out to some people who, you know, have such virulent feelings about it. I'm like, is there any other issue you agree with AOC on? Can you tell me one other issue you agree with AOC on other than that this is the one she got right? This is the one. Like, you disagree with her on everything, but this is the one you think she got right. Like,
Yeah,
ask
you agree
yourself
with
that
their old
question.
Zionism or
Yeah,
anti-Zionism.
that's the
Yeah.
one you think she got right. I mean, ask yourself how you come to that conclusion. And they're like, no, well, so she agrees with me on this. Like, I got there first. I'm like, no. They've been there forever. They've been there forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just let her mask slip finally. So
Yeah. The dynamic of easy racism and casual cruelty played out in often dark, vivid fashion inside the chats where campaign talk and party gossip blurred into streams of slurs and violent fantasies. It's not violent fantasies. You just started this off by saying it's a joke, and now you're saying it's like violent. It's so stupid. This is so dumb. The group chat members, and again, I don't know. Maybe some of them are racist. Maybe some of them hate black people. Maybe some of them hate Jews or gays or women, or I don't know. Maybe some of them do. But when you're telling me that the entire context of this is that they're joking around with each other, there's no way for us to draw a conclusion about any person in this chat.
yeah, when the first thing you say is that it's a joking chat, then
Right.
at that moment you take the wind out of everything you're trying to say now.
100%. And
Yeah.
in fact, by the way, in a court of law, I'll tell you, there's a famous case where Aquila obviously sued Carl Benjamin, aka Sergeant of Akkad,
Mm-hmm.
where what he did was he took her video, which was called, you know, we thought we'd won. Right.
Yeah.
We thought she'd win or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was following her through the election day of 2016, and how she started so excited and the crushing defeat of Hillary at the end. And what Sargon did was he basically chopped up her video and called it, woke stages of self-awareness, so, and then just chopped it up and used her stuff. So she basically said that he was mocking me, and and trying to do this and using my content, and that this is wrong. And Sargon Akkad won, not only getting it dismissed, but getting legal fees, because in the complaint itself, and this is why it's relevant to the conversation you and I are having, in the complaint itself, they admit that her thing was very serious and his was humor. So when you're admitting that the basis is this, you're undercutting everything. You can't say that he's redoing what you did when he's taking what you did and making it a parody of itself.
Exactly.
So now, and that's the point, is once you're admitting that this is what it's about, you now basically have made your own bed, and now you can't get your way out of it. And that's why Akilah was obviously wrong for filing her complaint and had to pay attorney's fees. And these idiots at Politico are obviously wrong for trying to attach some sort of nefarious intent when you admit at the opening that this was, clearly joking around. So, I don't have access to these texts. They do, and they read it, and they were like, they're joking around. So, okay, they're joking around. Who cares? Why does anyone care?
I want to join this group chat, though.
I know so badly.
Right? Like, come on, guys.
So badly. Why am I not?
I'm
in
a millennial. Let me in, guys. Come on, knock, knock.
Maybe they saw your picture. So,
come on.
The group chat members spoke freely about the pressures to counter Trump to avoid being called a rhino, the love of Nazis within their party's right wing, and the president's alleged work to suppress documents related to wealthy financier Jeffrey Epstein's child sex crimes. This does not, none of this, when they're saying they spoke freely, is saying that they agree with the love of Nazis within their party's right wing. Quite the contrary. From the fact that they don't say anything about it, makes me think that they're actually bashing the Nazis within their party's right wing.
Okay, yeah.
And quote, Trump's too busy burning the Epstein files, Alex Dwyer, the chair of the Kansas Young Republicans, wrote in one instance. And that's a stupid comment. Dwyer and KK declined to comment. Maligno and Hendricks did not return requests for comment, but some involved in the chat did respond publicly. Giunta claimed the release of the chat as part of a highly coordinated year-long character assassination led by Gavin Wax and the New York City Republican Club, an allusion to a once obscured internecine war that is now spilled into the open. Quote, these logs were sourced. So Gavin Wax apparently is the one who is responsible for this being shared. I think that's what they suspect, at least. These logs were sourced by way of extortion and provided to Politico by the very same people conspiring against me, he said. What's most disheartening is that despite my unwavering support of President Trump since 2016, rogue probably means rogue members of his administration, including Gavin Wax, have participated in this conspiracy to ruin me publicly simply because I challenged them privately. Wax, a staffer in the Trump State Department, formerly led the New York Republican Club, a separate city-based group that is at odds with the state organization, the New York State Young Republicans. He declined.
Yeah, but I wonder how cool their group chat is, right?
It's so dumb. They have the same thing in there. They have the same
you
stuff.
know they do, and they're sitting there going,
yeah. So I don't know if Gavin Wax is behind this or not. If whoever is behind this is kind of a skeezy thing.
Of course. They're just trying to make a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone in their private friend groups or in whatever it is, they talk like this. They make these off-color jokes because they feel comfortable. They don't feel threatened. They don't feel like somebody is going to try to cancel them or anything like that. And to take those private conversations and then expose it and go, well, look how big of a Nazi they are or racist, right? It's disgusting.
Yeah. I want to see the Young Democrats chat post about CK. Yeah, seriously.
Oh, yeah, exactly, right?
T-Rex saying, I'm like 99% sure that in the grand scheme of things, these people in this group chat were joking about the caricature of the tiny mustache man loving neo-Nazis that the left think MAGA is. Yeah, I'm positive that it's on. If you actually spend time reading the article the way we have, it's obvious that that's what was happening here. So, and I think it's going to become more obvious when we get to their response to this. So the Young Republican chat is more liberating. So why do liberals hate a liberating chat? Because they're not liberals. They're leftists. That's why. I think Allegan knows that. The young right has become more anti-Jew Zionist, but they don't attack you physically for it like the left does. Okay, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Today.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, hold on. Let me play devil's advocate a little bit here. Has Nick Fuentes ever gone out there and had his group physically attack people? And they're super anti-Zionist and have been since before the Trump administration.
I think Nick Fuentes. I'm telling you right now, I think he's a Chloe.
No, I agree with that. But still, as a glowy, your job is to catch these people doing things. And how many of the America First guys have done that? I don't know of any. I'm not trying to sweep for him either, because I think Nick Fuentes is, well, a closeted gay man who is being paid by the CIA. But
Right. There was one speech I heard from him, which was kind of chilling.
A couple years ago on Rumble, I think, right?
Yeah, there was one speech I heard from him.
Yeah, he said a few things that were,
that was kind of chilling. Like his humor being like, is making jokes about the Holocaust. I'm like, all right, so basically, that's his shtick. But like, there's like, which is the proper term for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I as far as people from the right, you could say, what about people from the left? I guess from people from the left, we have seen the violence.
We have seen
they're more.
And I'm not saying that they won't.
They're more prone to engage in violence in general. Left is
because they're emotional people, right? And emotional people usually lead to their position being challenged, their position then not being able to go forward because somebody has called them.
They'll be quicker to it.
And so their next step is, oh, I can't win this argument. Let me bash you over the head.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Allegan says, Joe, you discovered the horseshoe theory of politics. The far right and far left converge at the center of the horseshoe. Not the center of the horseshoe, at the ends. The point is that the horseshoe is like this.
Yeah.
So the people on the far extreme here and far extreme here, they start coming back towards each other. The horseshoe shaped like this.
But they never touch.
Right. So they sort of get closer and closer towards each other. The more but my point is, it's not the center. People normally think is being like the bottom. If this is the horseshoe facing up, right? And but the extremes end. Sargon should be given asylum. I'm a huge fan of Carl Benjamin. I actually really like. I think the guy is frighteningly smart.
Now he is. Back when he was doing the Gamergate stuff, was, oh man, watching Mr. Medicare take the piss out of him was, oh, glorious. It was so.
I don't know. I haven't seen that. I don't know Mr. Medicare.
You should go back and look up his debates with Sargon of Akkad. Whenever he wanted to just get Trump to mention Gamergate to revitalize that movement, to give him popularity again. It was so funny. It was the same time that Carl was running for politics with that party that they had over there. I forget what it was, with Count Dankula and everybody. They were all like members of this party. Oh, so good. Go watch it one day. I'll send it to you.
The political spectrum isn't a straight line. It's a circle, and at the far left and far right, it wraps around and meets at anti-Semitism. Yep, exactly. Nick is not a glowy. He's just following the algorithms, getting views and influence. He has no real views of his own.
But he's doing it because he's not on any platform except for his own. He's on Cozy, and I think he may be on. Is he on Rumble now? He may be on Rumble, but Rumble
apparently he just went on to Spotify, shot up to the #1 spot, and was taken off of Spotify.
But for years he's been on Cozy, which is his own streaming platform. So
I don't even know what Cozy is. I don't know what that is.
Why are you kicking me tonight, man?
I'm
What is the
you.
disrespect?
I'm hitting the wrong button.
I swear, man.
We're
gonna have a meeting after this.
Anyway, here's a breakdown. I don't want to go through the rest of this. Here's a breakdown of what these different, according to Blue Georgia, assuming you can trust anyone who's a Democrat. But this is here's a breakdown of what these different individuals say in the chat. Let me save it.
This is an odd-looking group. We're supposed to be terrified of these guys. No.
First, I noticed how many of these guys are just enormous.
They need to put the fork down and stop tweeting and DMing each other, for the love. Look, the guy at the top left is clearly not a Caucasian man. He's like, great, I love Hitler.
Right.
What is this?
Everyone that votes no is going. It's I guess, and that's what I'm saying is they try to find like the clip and try to make it sound as if they take a little thing of what he said, which likely was a joke.
These guys. Sorry.
Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit out of the Hitler aesthetic. I don't even know what that. Boom, they're dead. I don't even. This is like the dumbest. This is the dumbest thing.
Why is the guy explaining 1488? Like, what are you doing, man? Like, that's the meme in and of itself.
What's
Don't
the
explain it.
14?
It's
his
Jesus.
birthday.
AF, I think. Yeah, that. What up? A B C D E F. Wait, I forget now. Oh, the 14 words. That's it. That's it. I'm trying to like search my racist brain. Yeah, the 14 words.
What does that mean?
I don't know
words?
them. I'll protect white people for something. Yada yada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And then of course, 88 is HH. So
yeah. So, this guy over here, William Hendricks. Okay. Would he like some women Kool-Aid with that? Okay. Like I said,
watermelon people, carving watermelons. I think all these guys like watermelon a little too, or they should eat more watermelon. Actually,
seriously, watermelon is a great diet food, by the way.
That guy on the far left right there with the Hitler Youth haircut, Hitler would have thrown you into the camps also, buddy. Calm down. Let's be easy. Look at it. You would have been there.
You're not really spelling Aryan here. Haircut notwithstanding.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I am so embarrassed of these guys.
Yeah. Luke Moseman, Beener, and as if they wanted to watch what? Anyway, so this is they all look enormous. No?
Every one of them. They do understand that politics is also a beauty competition, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is just the pictures that the Georgian Democrat.
You think these are just bad? Their bad side? Is that what you're trying to say, Joe? They just caught him at a bad angle. I think all angles on these guys are bad. There are no angles on these guys. They're all round.
That was good. That was very, very good.
Oh man,
it's a bad angle. It's a funny angle.
It's so bad. Like hey, you know what? I'm with Politico now. Let's bully these people. You know what?
I gotta apparently Trump, now that you brought up this whole bad angle thing, right?
All right.
One of the things that Lady Logic shared with me that she thought was hilarious, because I feel like we're gonna make our goal. I have a feeling we're gonna make our goal. We're getting very, very close to making our goal.
What are we, 2 or 3 away? Come on, everybody. Let's rally to that goal.
In expectation that we're going to meet our goal, I'll just share with y'all what Lady Logic gave me here. And this is apparently Trump is not happy about this picture.
You have to come up with a young Republicans diet program. We can't have this. Republicans are known for being. I thought exercise and lifting weights was white.
You talk about bad
right?
angles. You talk about this is how Time did Donald Trump dirty.
Oh no! Oh no!
That's supposed to be Trump.
That's why I saw the picture on the right with.
He wrote Time magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time. They disappeared my hair and then had something floating on top of my head.
Oh, I saw this picture with his neck blurred
like
out,
a floating
like
crown, an extremely small one, really weird. I never like taking pictures from underneath angles, but this is a super bad picture and deserves to be called out. What are they doing? And why? This doesn't.
You better watch out. You might get struck for that picture.
I didn't even know this was him. I literally didn't even know this was him. I was like,
Oh, no.
is that supposed to be
Trump.
BB? Like, who is this?
Oh, Trump, they done you so dirty, bro.
They
I
really
would
did.
let him take that picture.
You talk about bad angles. That's just like.
I don't even know if I can look at this and stay married. This is wrong.
But the neck reminds me of sin. So.
Oh, Trump, man. He knew they were. Trump, you're smarter than this, buddy. All right. Look, if Time Magazine is going to take a picture from below, make him stop. Don't let him do it.
I don't think I don't think he has any control of that. So how the young Republicans respond to this whole thing? Did you see their response?
I have not seen their response. I am tickled pink to hear it though.
So what their response was, we are appalled by the vile and inexcusable language revealed in the political article published today. Such behavior is disgraceful, unbecoming of any Republican, and stands in direct opposition to the values our movement represents. Those involved must immediately resign from the positions within the state and local young Republican organizations. We must hold ourselves to the highest standards of integrity, respect, and professionalism.
Got you.
That's what the young Republicans came out with.
Canned response, basically. We're firing them. We don't agree with them. Yada yada. See, if I was a leader of the young Republicans, I would have said immediately, all of them are going on a diet, and that would have been it. End of sentence. End of statement. Done.
Yeah. That's
over.
It's
with,
like
all right.
Right. Or people who live in Twinkie houses shouldn't throw stones.
Throw stones.
Shouldn't throw bonbons. Yeah, that would have been the appropriate response. This did not do well on social media. This has gotten a lot. You want to see the responses to this?
Of course I do. Yeah, they're getting dragged, right?
You're all bitch made. This response is why we lose. This is from the Milli Vanilli Hodge twins. Kings don't apologize. Only the court jesters do, from the lecturing guy.
Oh man.
Anyone disavowing these people is a weak loser. And she points out the Virginia Democrat AG candidate fantasized about our children dying. Don't apologize or disavow crap. I agree.
Yeah.
I disagree with her about a lot of things, but on this one, I agree with Cassandra. You people are worse than the left. OMG, you're effing pathetic. You've learned nothing from Salty Cracker. Don't negotiate with terrorists. Democrat AG candidate fantasized about shooting his opponent in the head. Dems, we love this guy. Young conservatives make jokes in a chat. GOP, resign immediately. It's ridiculous.
You're never gonna keep anybody who has any sort of integrity or strength to them if you continue to fire people and get rid of people over jokes or funny things or anything like that. So yeah,
it's so ridiculous. And again, I'm not trying to guard. I'm not, to the extent that people reveal that they genuinely have a problem with blacks, gays, Jews, whomever. So yeah, I don't want that. I don't want those folks.
Can we be honest, right? Like, racist jokes are funny. They just are.
Right.
Whether you like them or agree with them, they are funny.
In private jokes with other Jews, we'll make fun of each other for being cheap or being
right?
or living down to the Jewish
I would
stereotype.
keep a pocket full of pennies and drop them at a Jewish gathering if I was Jewish.
Right. Yeah, that's what you see what you got. What you don't realize about that is it has to be quarters.
Oy vey, we're not bidding down for a penny.
Yeah, come on.
That's how you figure out the real cheap one in the group, though. They would bid down and pick them up.
Pennies. Come on. Seriously. It'll take me 4 seconds to bend down. And you think that that's worth a penny? No,
that's not worth your time. But yeah, I agree with you, man. The fact that the fact that they're going after these kids for the wrong thing, I think. Seriously, get them a gym membership.
Brianna Morello says we don't do this anymore if Trump is president. Kyle Becker says, I'm going to respectfully disagree with those who think this is a weak statement. If you want to beat the left, you have to be better than the left. But I will add that only a few messages were disqualifying positions of influence in the party. They were unprofessional and disturbing, in my opinion. I would not tolerate if I was running an organization. Normal people don't joke about Nazi policies.
Oh, shut up, Kyle, you nerd. Shut up, nerd. Going
Hopefully
somewhere,
those who
nerd.
are involved in creating a toxic environment learn from the experience. That being said, these are low-level staffers, not leaders. The Democratic Party encourages this kind of extreme rhetoric, and it runs up to the highest level of its party. It needs to police itself before hand-wringing on this fairly inconsequential matter.
Jesus.
And this was a great point here. Charlie Kirk said, "The left have never played by our rules. Only we play by our rules. Our rules will keep our side from winning.
Mhm.
Either want to win or we'll lose under some delusion that the rules mean anything." There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very poignant. It's you've got to allow you have to allow people to be people, because if you make them robots, you're never going to get a genuine person in office, and that's how you get people making deals behind closed doors that you don't like. So if you
I'm
want to keep
appalled by the
being
fat women and sweaty eunuchs on your board. What the hell?
wait, what?
I'm appalled by the fat women and sweaty eunuchs on your board. What the hell?
Yeah, somebody finally gets it, right? Come
Exactly.
on.
Exactly.
That's what we should be railing against.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Tim Pool told me a civil war is coming, and if these guys are not in shape, how are we going to win the civil war?
How? Pray tell how.
How are we going to do that? They can't jog a mile. Put a Twinkie at the end of the road and tell them to go get it.
Sons of Korah saying, we're appalled by the abject and inexcusable cowardice exhibited by the young Republican National Federation today. Such conduct is not only disgraceful and unworthy of any true patriot, but also dishonors the manful virtues exhibited by forefathers in this land of the free and home of the brave. It is a bit preachy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
this is wild to me. This is the fact that the Republicans want to always do the free speech this, free speech that, yada yada, allow us to. We've been getting targeted for years, and then you go around and target your own group for the same thing that we've been targeted for years.
Yeah,
I'm retarded thing is hilarious. I love that. I love that gif. I'm retarded. That's me every morning, by the way.
It is, right? It's really, it means that quite literally. It's literally him. So, anyhow, he should put his own time pick and put it on Mount Rushmore. I'm not sure who dropped it.
He should own the time pick.
Wesley says they need that diet you were talking about, Joe. They wanted him to look like me, Biden. For the cause, cheers, y'all. Thank you, Mystic Gypsy. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Just remember the ninth circle of hell reserved for the disloyal. And Felzu saying, take my quarters. Hope you had some fabulous brisket. I did.
Oh,
did.
man. Yeah,
I got so fat over the last couple of weeks. I put on like 7 pounds, I think. I'm hoping it's 7 pounds.
I can't wait till Christmas.
I am going to go back, and I'm going back into my heavy diet mode starting next week. Like I go through these phases where I'm like in a weight loss period. So I had a very lengthy phase when I shed off 40 pounds.
Well, just put down the fork, fatty. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think I put on back. I think I put back on like.
Stop using elevators and put down the fork. It's very simple.
I was very pleased with going. I went from 235 to 194. So
that's a good jump. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very healthy jump. I think I probably went back over 200 over the last couple of weeks.
Well, you've been doing nothing but doing holidays for a month now. So
yeah, my goal is to get down to 180. That's really what my goal is. And I'll probably those last 20 pounds will be much harder to do. It'll probably take me till spring to get there, but I expect over the winter to get there. It's not like I have a deadline, so I'm able to sort of like just steadily work off a couple pounds here, a couple pounds there.
Yeah. That makes
Who
sense.
amongst us has never made a gay, black, or Hispanic joke? Be the first to cast the stone. Exactly.
Bro, I do it weekly on my show. I don't know what to say. Like we've got a lot of wild guys over there that make jokes. So
Republicans have a Puritan mentality with this stuff. If you go to any blue collar jobs, you can hear similar crap all the time. This is true.
completely,
This is
yeah,
true.
100%.
And it's the stupidest thing. It's self-immolating. It's dumb. All hail the beanie civil. We left
I'm
culturally
imagining.
appropriate mental retardation.
Well, yeah, they did. That's terrible for retards like me. You know, like stop it.
Yes, it's not fair.
Stop
It's
taking
not
my
fair.
struggle.
Also, remember, according to that political article, we are now allowed to say retard again. They didn't censor it. Oh, that's a good point.
Oh snap! Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Oh, Nixie Nix had a much better line. Yeah. People who live in Twinkie houses shouldn't throw scones.
Ah, damn it! It
Much
was right
better.
on the note. Son of a
Yeah.
man.
I like it. I like it.
That
They
is
pro-
great.
They certainly don't throw scones. So we did. I'm going to count it as if we hit our goal.
We
'cause
did
I
hit the
think
goal.
We did. Did we hit the goal?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Normally I get someone screaming goal. We did hit the goal.
Yeah, we hit the goal,
You
man.
guys rock.
Yeah, they're
Nicely
great.
done. They're awesome. Yeah. So I'll share with you all tonight's goal, which we reached, because you guys rock. Well, I promised that I was going to share with you my behind the scenes conversation with my friends that I had during my annual social gathering. So I don't know if I gave a brief intro to it.
A little bit. Yeah.
The anniversary of anyone who loses when someone dies, the anniversary of their death on the Hebrew calendar, the lunar calendar, is we call yahrzeit. That's I don't even know what the origin of the word is, but that's just what they call the anniversary of the person's death is their yahrzeit.
Gotcha. Okay.
So my mother's yahrzeit, the day
All
she
right.
died, was a day that is a Jewish holiday. So she died on this holiday, which is actually a day that people don't really, even Ortho Jews, far too many seem to give too little significance to the impact of this holiday. You probably have heard of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and
I have. Yeah.
You've definitely heard of Yom Kippur.
Oh
right?
yeah, of course.
Or
Yeah.
people who say Yom Kippur, but so those are Jews' days of atonement, and we say that God is judging the world in those days. We believe that His conclusion on that judgment comes on Hoshana Rabbah.
Okay.
That's the day. Now it's instead of it being a day of fasting and penance, it's more. There is a little bit of an extension of our prayers that it's longer than normal, and there's also and there's just various customs. One of those customs that is not widely recognized is this custom that my mother's family had of eating a meal that she called haka taka. It comes from the Yiddish phrase of gehakte Fleisch, which means to chop up meat. And the idea is that basically God should take out his vengeance on this meat instead of on us.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So we'll be eating chopped meat, and you're supposed to eat it in the morning. So that's called hakataka. No one outside of my family that I've ever met has ever heard of this. Okay, so my mother didn't invent it. In fact, her father was, and her father's father was a really big rabbi in Europe. He was a very
young Republican big, or actually big time, big deal.
He was someone who he ran in circles with the biggest rabbis of his day.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's not like his name is a name that Jews today know, but he regularly corresponded with people who were the biggest rabbis of the day. So names that if you're not Jewish you wouldn't know them, but every Jew would know. Every Orthodox Jew would know. For example, the Chafetz Chaim is a name you wouldn't know, but every Orthodox Jew would be like, yeah, that was the biggest rabbi of like the last century. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
so and it was his custom. So since my mother died on that day, I was like, you know what? There's a customary thing to sort of bring friends together and to sort of have them for like food on the yard sites. So let me introduce my friends to this custom of Hakataka. So so every year I have them come and join me for Hakataka. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it's the one day of the year that I hang out with friends, because the rest of the time I'm basically with family.
Mhm.
So, and it's like, I don't even have to say, I just have to say Hakataka like I tell them the time, and they come, and I haven't spoken to them in like 6 months, and they just come. Because, it's so with the topic of the day being that on Hoshana Rabbah, that's when we had the hostage exchange that was happening in Israel. So before the hostage exchange, I came on the air here and I was really railing against the deal. And I was like, and the point I made was, I said, look, it's very flattering that, that when the Arab world is making demands of exchanges, that they basically say that one Jew is worth 100 Muslims. But that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
And Torah dictates that you're not supposed to overpay to recover a hostage. It's like a really, really terrible thing to do.
Okay.
So when my friends showed up, I asked them what their thoughts about the deal was. And no one was as strongly against it as I was. Like I was very much, all of them were, there was like 3 or 4 friends, and all of them were basically like, look, first and foremost, you have to realize there was a massive internal struggle going on in Israel, where this is like leading to like a civil war in Israel over like the whole situation there, with some people saying that Israel is pushing too lightly, others saying they should turn and leave, and there being a lot of anguish about this extent. Some people thinking, they're not doing enough to rescue the hostages, and that they need to go in there full force and really get them out. And it was just like a lot of strife that was that's happening in Israel. So from that perspective, he was, they were like, Israel really had very little choice in this whole situation, because, they don't want to leave someone behind. And I'm like, you're creating a situation. How hard is it for Hamas to basically kidnap 3 people and just take them? And now you're gonna be like, okay, so we're gonna give another 300 people for those 3 people.
Yeah.
That's why you can't do it. That's why I was like, that's why my position was, someone said, so what would you do, Joe? And I was like, you either have to go in there harder. You have 3 choices: go in there harder, keep doing what you're doing, or keep doing what you're doing is option 2, or turn around and leave and say we can't get them. But you can't do this. Like, this is terrible, because you're begging them to repeat this. There's nothing from a Hamas perspective. This was no downside here at all. I mean, literally no downside. The reason they did this, they knew they were going to get bludgeoned. When they went in, they know that they don't have the military capacity to compete with Israel. They know they're going to have, half of Gaza, or it's probably not even half, it's probably like 20 to 25% of Gaza, basically turned to rubble. They know there's going to be a lot of blood. They know there's going to be a lot of dead Jews and far more dead Arabs. And they're doing it anyway, because it's worth it to them. Why is it worth it to them? The reason it's worth it to them is because they want to see across the world all these people screaming from the river to the sea, Palestine be free.
Exactly. Yeah.
Their motivation is that they want to create this PR. So they've won on that. I mean, there's no question that, they're thrilled to have, Hamas basically wants to wipe out every Jew they can. They're thrilled to see the rise of anti-Semitism from both the left and right extremes of American politics, and not just American politics, but global politics, because the same is going on in Europe and throughout the Western world. So they're thrilled by that. And now they get this release so what was their downside? From their perspective, blood is always good. It's better if it's Jewish, but if it's Arab love, it's something they can throw in a headline, and everyone will be like, look at
It's
how
literally nothing but an upside. What they don't have to feed these guys or keep these guys alive anymore at all. So
yeah. So from their perspective,
it's a win-win.
Yeah, it is a win-win. And the more you incentivize them by saying, yeah, we're willing to pay through the nose, whether it's financially or in hostages. But the people who they're giving back are people who they're giving back. So some of the people they're giving back are people. One guy who orchestrated a kidnap of three Jewish teenagers a decade ago and butchered them to death. So they gave this guy back. It's
Great.
like
that's a great idea. Yeah, let's do that.
That's why I was like, this is
This feels dirty to me now.
right. Like it really bothered me a lot. And the point that they were making is there is other benefits from an Israel perspective to this whole thing, aside from getting the hostages back, which is supposedly there's some sort of international tripartite or people who are basically supposed to be overseeing what's happening in Gaza going forward. That's going to be including Qatar and America and whatever. And that basically, from their perspective, that they're not going to have Hamas running things the way they were beforehand. So I was like, all right, I guess, from an Israel.
Haven't we done this before?
I don't like having America involved in that.
No, not at all. Get us out of there, please.
It's like, get us the heck
Stay
out
us
of there.
away from there, please, as much as possible.
Why? Exactly. Why?
What are we doing?
Why? Exactly.
This is asking for trouble. I mean, let me predict the future. A couple Americans get bombed by somebody, and now we have to as another Pearl Harbor, another USS Liberty, so on and so forth. That's it. That's all we're asking for. Stay away.
It sort of feels like it's a continual thing of kicking the can down the road.
Can we just leave the Middle East? I'm tired of seeing sand on our soldiers' boots. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm totally down with that. And since this whole thing started, since October 8th, my take on this, and I've weighed in as infrequently as I felt was possible, but my take has been continually, I don't want to be sending troops or money to Israel. I want to give them complete right to buy whatever they want and pay for whatever they want from their own pocket. And if they want to buy military, if they want to buy
basically
weapons
open
from
up the
us,
stores and let them pick and choose whatever they want.
But
versus
you're
just giving them money
for it. Yeah, it's not the tax. It's not you and me paying for it, but it is those paying for it.
We're giving them billions of dollars every year for how long now? I mean, we funded the Iron Dome, so
so from what I understand, just to be clear on that, they spend supposedly $43 billion a year on American military, for which they pay $40 billion, and the American taxpayer is paying $3 billion. And I'm like, why are we paying?
Why are we paying $3 billion? Just let them pay the other $3 billion.
Or if they can work a discount from Raytheon, Raytheon
that's fine,
says
but we shouldn't be putting any sort of bill.
100%. Like, it was like, why are we giving that? I don't want to be giving that money to Raytheon. But I also say that those people who are like, that's the only thing that they have a hang up on as far as America wasting money internationally. I'm like, I don't want to be spending the money in Ukraine. I don't want to be spending it in Taiwan. I don't want to be spending in South America. I don't want to be spending it anywhere.
Outside of our border, I don't want to go in anywhere.
Exactly. We have enough expenses here. Let us focus on our own needs. And that should not be the price of friendship.
No,
you know what I'm
not
saying?
At all.
Because and the point I've made many times is I said I have lots of friends, but I don't pay them to be my friends. And anyone who I have to pay to be my friend,
I know that
if I don't pay you, you're not going to be my friend. Then you're not my friend. You never were my friends.
Exactly. No, I agree with you 100%. And so we're paying these guys to be nice to us but for what though? Like, in all honesty, what benefit are we truly getting? Other than a place that would let us land tanks or in airplanes and stuff over there. But
I mean, I'll tell you this, if you believe the woke right, then apparently the Mossad was able to be behind everything. So I guess in theory they're providing access to intel that America.
I don't care about that. You're going to sit here and tell me that Mossad is a greater intel agency than the United States? Get out.
Well, I don't know. Apparently they're behind everything, so maybe they do have the best intel.
Yeah, but you get what I
no, but I know you think I'm making a joke, but like that is
no, but they do. Yeah,
there is the double standard where it's like on the one hand, it's like they're behind everything, they know everything, they know what you're thinking, they know what you're plotting and whatever. And the other hand, there's no benefit to having to having their intel, it's like, well, why
I
are you
have more-
telling me on the
yeah.
one? You can't tell me in one breath that they're, geniuses and, these mad geniuses, and the other breath that having access to what they know is useless. They can't be both of those. It's got to be one or the other.
Well, I look
you
at it
know?
like this, though, right? Let's say they are super geniuses. Okay, let's say the woke right is correct.
Okay.
I still don't care.
Right.
Stop
still-
giving them money.
Oh, I'm totally down with that. I'm totally
Yeah,
down.
I don't care.
And
I don't,
I've spoken to people who are very strongly Zionist, very, very pro-Israel, like fiercely pro-Israel. And I've said to them, I was like, I don't want to see Israel outside of Jewish control. I have family and friends that live there. I mean, I have a lot of family there. My son is living there, temporarily. So I'm like, and I love being able to visit the Holy Land and see all the sites and access to the Western Wall and all the other Jewish sites that are there, and Christians having access to these things that they never had before. It was under Jewish control. All these different holy sites and relics that are there that are only available because it's under Jewish control.
Okay.
And that's all. So that's all well and good, but I don't want to have to be that. America shouldn't have to be financing that. And
we shouldn't have to foot that bill because of
and the point that I make
artifacts
is
people wanna see.
you're engendering so much bad will for that $3
Yeah.
billion. So much bad will
And it's
that
such,
it's not worth it.
it's such
Find
a
a
partly
way.
sum too, right? It's such a small
It's
in the
a
grand
paltry
scheme.
sum. You're spending 40 billion already, so just spend 43.
Yeah.
If you can come up with 40 billion, I don't know. Somehow it's crazy
I
to me.
think
I'm
we
like,
might
if
be
you
able
can
to
come up with
give them
40
a
billion,
discount instead of
come
us
up with the
covering that 3 billion.
43 and
Yeah.
stop taking the 3. And this way, it's like, look, now now America treats you like you're on equal footing, and maybe you don't have to be. And here's the other thing, if you're not taking that 3 billion, you also have more independence to basically say, Trump,
You're
we
not
love you and
beholden
everything
to
like
it.
that. We're not taking this deal that you're recommending.
Yeah.
You're actually your own person. You're
So
paying
you
your
now
own
have
way.
nothing we can beat you over the head with. It's
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's so dumb.
And it's like, and that puts Israel in a position. And that's what I was telling the people who are Zionists. I'm like, you're in such a stronger position, and you weaken yourself so much for this
That's
3
literally
billion,
what I was about
and
to say.
create so much hate, because you give root to this position that there's a reason for the typical American to feel resentment towards Israel. And you're just building this wellspring of anti-Israel animus,
And you could
which
cut it all off,
which I
all
feel
off at the
and you
head.
cut it all off. Yeah, exactly. Just
I
cut
just
it all
go
off. Come
by
up with the 3 billion.
Yeah, coming up with $3 billion, and then
Which
going,
I know
well,
sounds
guess what?
insane. I know it sounds like an insane number, but I'm like I said, if you're
Not for
coming
a
up with
country.
exactly.
I'm sorry, not for the GDP of a country. That is pennies on the dollar when you look at trillions.
Yeah.
If you do the math of millions to billions, it is insane, right? But then you go to countries having trillions of dollars. Nah, man, nope.
So
And you would end all
Yeah,
this.
the other point my friends made to me was, now that they said that throughout this entire time, they've been so concerned about potentially harming these hostages that no matter what Hamas threw at them, they couldn't really go hard at them because of a fear that they were going to bomb their own people. And
How many hostages? How many hostages did Hamas have in total?
they started with like 200 or so, and over time,
Ooh.
some died, some were returned. In the end, the final deal, there was 20 living and supposedly like 48 bodies, and that they wanted back.
So Israel got 20 people back, and how many Hamas soldiers did they get? How many?
They
of those
gave
guys?
back 2,000 people, including
Yeah,
250, including 250 who had life sentences.
So you've now just weakened your position by 2,000 people. Is that what you said?
2,000.
2,000 radicalized people who are now going to radicalize any sort of young man that is around them by telling their stories of being kept, imprisoned by,
Yeah.
insert, name here, right? And now that is going to you've just doubled
The only way this deal works from an Israel perspective, from my take, is if in fact like this new body that comes in there, really what you're looking for is for Qatar or some other nation state that is not quite as hostile to Israel, basically reforming their education. The education system there is literally from the time they're 3 years old, they're training them how to deal with weapons, and that Israel is the mortal enemy who wants to see them dead unless they kill them first. Like that's how they're trained their young.
Yeah,
So
but you're still gonna have those underground radical people that are just gonna end up taking over again. It's gonna restart this. You're kicking,
and
the
that's
can
why,
down the road.
that's why, if in fact you're able to get like another Muslim state, because amongst, much like you have here in America, you have some Christians who are far more fundamentalist than others. So too it is with Islam. So you have some who are much more about like God wants me to die as long as I'm blowing up the infidel, and then you have others who are like, no, let's have like a healthy, productive life, and if that doesn't mean I have to kill every enemy that exists, and if you get people like that in charge of the area rather than some radicalized group, that perhaps the education system there changes so that they are more like Saudi Arabia, that they are more willing to basically
Westernized?
coexist. Yeah, westernized to the degree that they're willing to coexist.
Yeah, that's a lot of ifs and buts, my dad would say.
You're right. It is a lot of ifs and buts. It is.
Yeah.
But what else am I supposed to take from a deal of 2,000 for 20? What else can I? It's the only.
You're trying to find some silver lining here, and I get that.
Some potential silver lining.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's watch your buddies.
Yeah. Anyway, but I had a great time with them. They were they're a lot of fun to hang out with, and the conversation ultimately devolves to fantasy football.
Racism and things.
To racism and fantasy football. So. Do you do fantasy football?
No, not anymore. I used to.
I discovered something new.
Okay.
Called a guillotine league.
Wait, what?
Like a guillotine or guillotine?
Yeah.
In a guillotine league, this is something I've tried for the first time now this year. In a guillotine league, so you have 12 teams, 14 teams, 16 teams you could have up to. You field your team just like anywhere else. And whichever of those 16 teams has the lowest points on week 1, their season is over.
Oh.
And they're done. And then whoever's left, they're competing the next week. Each week, you have one less team. But here's the rub. This is the really cool part.
Okay.
They die, and their players go back into the pool.
And you can redraft.
Well, you can pick them up with free agent money.
Yeah.
So now you're free agent. So now free agent money, which you start with, instead of the normal $100, you start with $1,000. But like now, sometimes someone had and as it goes further and further into the season, they're superstars who are coming into the free agent pool. So you're now basically fighting with other people to try and get these superstars, where all of a sudden, like Christian McCaffrey has been on teams that have fallen twice in a league that I'm in now. And I end up like picking him up for I bid like $400 on getting Christian McCaffrey, because I'm like, this, But by the time the season comes down to like there's only 4 or 5 teams left, because your rosters are so limited, there's just sitting out there, are really good, really good players are sitting out there who any one of them could pop off at a given time, and you're sort of picking week to week, because now you have to have, you're competing with 4 or 5 other teams who all of you are stacked. And you basically have to have you have to beat at least one of the other teams and not be the lowest team there as you start knocking everyone off until you're down to 2 teams. When by the time the 2 teams left, both teams are obviously really stacked. It's a matter of like guessing right who's gonna pop off that particular week. So it's a cool concept. Anyway, but this is not what people come to my channel for.
That might get me back into playing fantasy football. So.
It's a very cool.
That sounds a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, let me get the end of our super chats here and get on out of here. I also remember coins. We are now. Oh, we got this one. A non-hamster who was a member in the past, was a member of the following before, is back. So I'm glad.
I came
Welcome back, a
in. They saw the
non-hamster.
cult really getting an uptick, and they wanted to join.
There you go. Just got a ratio of the U.S. involvement at 1/60th. I don't know what that means, but the CIA offshored their work to Mossad and other in the Five Eyes. They learned from how we offshored our manufacturing. Oh, is that true? Like that's why they're so dependent on Mossad? I don't know. I'm unaware of that. It's possible. I can't rule that out. Uzelian says these people never played Call of Duty before. This chat is nothing. All right. And that's what we got. Where can people find you?
FFS podcast. We cover pretty much everything: politics, free speech, comic books. Depends on what's going on around that time.
If he ever gives me a link, I'll throw it into the description.
So let me go get it. My bad. I thought you would save that. Let me grab it. You can put it in the chat.
I will never save it.
You could put it in the description of the show on
That's
Wednesdays.
what I would do.
That would be fun,
That's what I will do once it goes into our private chat.
Yeah, we cover a lot of pop culture and depends on what's going on in the news this week. So like last week we covered all the Hassan stuff, everything, and found a lot of funny things about that. It was a good time.
I'm sure. I'm sure you can see. Look, when Sin comes in here, it's he's able to take he's able to take what is due. So, and we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. We've had a lot of people come over and say, hey, if you want to see me just pretty much say what I want to, how I want to, when I want to, and joke with a bunch of my buddies talking about whatever is topical that week, come on by. It's a good time. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Share.
And what I'm going to do is I'm even going to put it. This is what I'm going to urge all you. Often I'm sending you on your way somewhere else. That's what ends up happening. Is I'll send you on your way I'll send you to like a different to Jim Tells You or something like that. But I don't think he's streaming tonight. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to actually put it in the chat, and I'm going to urge you all now is to just click the link, go on over there, and give this guy a sub, because I really want to get him monetized, and he's got to get over 1,000 subs. So I'm pinning this message in the chat. It's if you're watching afterwards, it's in the description. And I'm also going to put it over in Rumble, just so that you Rumble people can perhaps help him out. Also, you ghetto folk. And I was terrible that I didn't even open up. I didn't even open up locals all night tonight. That's how off my game I am. But it is there, and I'm going to urge you all, if you can just click the link, hit subscribe. It costs you nothing, and it's very meaningful to Sin. And
yeah, it really is. It's great.
It's really
trying to
meaningful.
Build this channel. Yeah.
It's really, really meaningful. And if you can do that, it's a way of saying thanks that I enjoy your content. So I will express my gratitude in advance to those of you who have done that or will do that shortly.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Anyway, I look forward to seeing you next week, my brother.
I will be here.
All right. And to the rest of you out there in YouTube land or in the ghetto or whatever, I'm going to remind you that stay away from lab meat. It's not meant for you. It's meant for the retardeds or for they, them. And don't eat the bugs. Just don't do it. Do not eat the bugs. Have a good night, everyone. And as always, Godspeed.
Bye.